You know, sometimes I wonder that even if the Wheel in Space was all available, whether it would live up to the premise or some of the promotional photographs taken for the episode to tantalize one into thinking it's going to be more exciting and spooky than it ultimately is. That image that ends up being the Solid Space Museum album cover. Don't we all just wish this was in the episode itself? Even if it only existed via one of the reconstructions in the episode itself, the scene itself had been junked, wouldn't it be nice knowing that it was there? Ultimately, The Wheel in Space, it feels like a case of Serial suffering for being a six-parter. They have to extenuate the drama and the tension over the course of 6 episodes. And so the Cybermen are just, biding their time, and you're wondering, why are we supposed to consider these two guys threatening? They look cool. It's great to just see them wander about, and the best thing you can almost do with the Wheel in Space is treat it as though it's some surreal, bizarre children's nightmare, and the reason the Cybermen aren't more threatening and why they're not more overtly violent and aggressive is part of the kind of creepy factor, and you're kind of not sure why that is, and there's a mystery there, and they're almost like they're trying to tease and scare, but ultimately it's just so overtly because of a certain production. I don't want to say laziness, just because I'm sure they tried their best given the resources that they had, just lack of logistical effectiveness, I suppose. This was not the kind of storyline which, had they re-engineered this into a 4-parter, we might have had some Tomb of the Cybermen-esque genius, or maybe something closer to the Moonbase. I don't know. All I do know is that on paper and during the best moments of, The Wheel in Space is one of my absolute favourite entries in certainly Second Doctor, maybe classic Doctor Who in general. I think the idea of just 2 Cybermen on a space station threatening the Second Doctor, the crew of that particular titular Wheel in Space, a new companion named Zoe, Jamie McCrimmon, something about that just screams the finest and most exciting, the Doctor Who concept premise with the most potential. And whether it's due to the episodes being junked or the so-so execution / funding of this production, The Wheel in Space isn't quite there. And in a way, the best thing about it, the most positivity that this serial has brought me, aside from, look, it is, episode 3 and 6 are wonderful to watch, don't get me wrong. Their great moments are certainly striking. Although the most joy that this serial's existence has brought me was that photograph used for Solid Space's Space Museum, drawing me toward listening to that piece of music, that collection of songs, and falling in love with it. It has brought me a lot more enjoyment than the serial, and that's probably because it was junked, but there's a possibility that even if it weren't, Solid Space or Space Museum would still be a thing that has brought me more joy than The Wheel in Space. It's a nasty nihilistic thought, but I felt like sharing it, because what else can we share about this missing serial? Not too much, I don't think anyway.